ଇଶା କହିଲା ଉପରବେଳା ଆସିପାରିବନି। ସେ କଣ କହିଲ 1 ନମ୍ବର ରୋଡ କଣ ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇଛି।
ଓହୋ କୋଉଠି ବୁଲିକି ଆଉଛୁ?
କେଜାଣି।
ଗୁଡ୍ ଇଭିନିଂ ସାର୍। ସାର୍ ନମସ୍କାର।
ସାର୍ ପ୍ରଣାମ ସାର୍।
ଜୟ ଜଗନ୍ନାଥ ସାର୍।
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Hello.
evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good
Am
evening.
I audible?
Sir.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Am I
sir.
audible or not?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
it is.
sir.
Any of you?
Pranam, sir. Good evening, sir.
Any of you? I'm audible or not?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Good evening,
evening,
sir.
sir.
Good evening, sir.
We are discussing about different types of studies in educational research. The historical research, philosophical research, and other types of research we have discussed. So let us discuss about the experimental research. What is experimental research? Experiment is the cause and effect relationship between two variables. Is it clear? Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Eh?
Yes, sir.
Cause and effect relationship between two variables or more than two variables. Is it clear? Is it
Yes,
clear
sir.
or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
There are so many variables. I have told you that the study habit, effect of a study habit on achievement. I was telling the study habit is one variable, achievement is other variable. Out of the two variables, one is
सर
called
प्रेजेंट हो
independent,
गया
one is called independent variable, other is called dependent variable. Always the relationship is established between independent and dependent variable. Whether independent variable causes any effect on the dependent variable, that comes under the experimental study. That's why I have told you the cause and effect relationship between two or more than two variables is called your experimental design. This much is clear? This much is clear or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is
Yes,
eh?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, this is clear. So in the experimental research, you will find one independent variable, one dependent variable. You know the independent variable? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You know
Yes, sir.
the dependent variable?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we have to establish the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. Another terms or concepts that you should know. In the experimental design, what happens? The intervention program or the treatment is given. Okay? The intervention program or the treatment is given. So, the intervention program, we have to study the intervention program. Suppose the activity method of teaching causes better learning. So, activity method is the intervention program or independent variable. Whether through activity method students are benefited out of it or not? There are three types of experimental design. One is called pre-experimental design, other is called true experimental design, and the third one is called quasi-experimental design. Is it clear? The
Yes,
pre-experimental
sir.
design, true experimental design, quasi-experimental design. So, in the true experimental design, so always there will be two groups. In experimental design, there will be two groups. One is called control group, one is called experimental group. The control group, to the control group, no treatment is to be given. No intervention program will be given. The experimental group will be given intervention program. As I have told you, the activity method causes better loading. So one group will be taught through a traditional method and other group will be taught through activity method. So the group which is taught through activity method is called experimental group. The group which is taught through traditional method is called control group. Is it clear? Is it clear
Yes,
or
sir.
not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Control group and experimental group. While forming the groups, what procedure shall we follow? So, the two groups shall be identical in nature. They are psychological variables like intelligence, interest, attitude, etc. of group A and group B shall be equal. Then we have to conduct when after, because we have to control the external influences. The intelligence influences the achievement, the interest influences the achievement, the study habit influences the achievement. So these are the external factors which influence the experiment. That's why these two groups are identical in nature. Suppose in a class there are 60 students, so or in different classes, so their intelligence, if you divide two groups making 30 and 30, both the groups intelligence will be same, the interest will be same, and other factors will be same. How can you say that all these factors are identical? Because the mean is the status of the group. Is it clear? Mean, average marks, is the status of the group. So if the mean is more or less equal in both the groups in different variables, then we can say these groups are identical. This much is clear or not? This much is clear or not? Hello,
सर थोड़ा रिपीट करिए.
repeat करिए. ठीक है. In the experimental design, two groups will be formed, group A and group B. So these two groups shall be identical in nature. The external factors shall not influence both the groups. Keeping in view the external factors, we must control these external factors. What are the external factors? The intelligence, the interest, the attitude, and other factors are
Motivation.
the
Motivation.
motivation. So all the factors are the external factors. So in these two groups, group A and group B, for example, intelligence is one of the external factor which influence the achievement of the learner. That's why group A and group B, the intelligence should be same. How the intelligence will be same? When we have to calculate the intelligence of all 30 persons of group A and take the average mean of group A and then group B average intelligence. If the average amount of intelligence is equal in both the group, we say that the intelligence factor is controlled. This much clear? This
Yes,
much
sir.
is clear? Eh?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
like other factors, we also administer the test and get the result and also find out the mean of both the groups. So in both the group, control group and experimental group, group A is the control group, B is the experimental group. In both the groups, the external factors shall be equal. So that means the external factor shall not influence the result in the experiments. Clear this much, all of you?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, there is no bias in two group. ये भी बोल सकते हैं.
Let us take the two groups. One is called experimental group and the other is called your
Control group.
control group. Control group will be no intervention program shall be given to the control group. Clear? No intervention program shall be given to the control group. But intervention program shall be given to the experimental group. Is it clear? Is it clear or
Yes,
not?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Visible to?
Yes, sir.
Then let us come to the pre-experimental design. In the pre-experimental design, what happens? We will form two groups, definitely. But no external factors are fully controlled. Okay? The external factors will not fully control. We may make two groups, no doubt. But one is group, the experimental group, other is called your control group. But the external factors are not controlled. For example, there is a television program in a particular area. Suppose your problem is effect of television program on the achievement of the learner. Okay, this is a problem for you. So we undertake or we shall apply the experimental design, that is a pre-experimental design. That means before the experiment, we are not doing or controlling the external factors. Okay. Before doing the experiment, we are not controlling the external factors Is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
For,
sir.
for
Yes, sir.
example, the effect, what is the problem? The effect of a television program on the achievement. So television program is the intervention program, and in some areas, the television program is available. In some areas, the television program is not available. Suppose class 8. We have to study on class 8 students. What is the effect of television program? The effect of television program on the achievement of class 8 students. So, the students will be selected where the television program is available. That is called your experimental group. Where there is no television program, the students are deprived of television program in the teaching learning process. That is called your control group. This is clear or not? Pre-experimental design. In the pre-experimental design, is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
During COVID period, what happens? There was an online class. But in Odisha, most of the areas have no internet facilities. Those students are deprived of the teaching learning materials. So they are called your control group. Where there was an internet program and online class was going on, is called your experimental group. This much clear?
Yes,
This
sir.
clear or not? This experimental group and control group, pre-experimental design. So here external factors are not earlier controlled. There might be possibility to influence the performance of the learner, those external factors. Is it clear? So after some time, what will you do? We will administer a test, conduct a test to both the groups, to experimental groups and to the control groups, group A and group B. And you will find out the average score or mean score of the group A and B. If there will be significant difference between the means of both the groups, then we can say the television program has effect on achievement of or success or performance of the learner. This is clear or not? Tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pre-experimental design is fully understood. Pre-experimental design is fully understood.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Yes. Now come to the true experimental design. In the true experimental design, also we will form two groups. One is called experimental group and other is called your control group. But both the groups shall be identical in all respect. Means the external factors for both the groups are to be fully controlled. Okay? Then what it will do to the control group? It will be in the traditional way. To the experimental group, the intervention program will be given. So whether the intervention program will bring some changes or not, that is our study. Suppose your activity method of teaching influence or the effect of activity method on the achievement of the learner. Okay, effect of activity method on the achievement of the learner. So the two groups shall be formed. The mean of group A and the mean of the group B shall be same. Then one group will be taught through traditional method and the other group shall be taught through activity method. Before that, the groups will be formed on the basis of pre-test result. Okay, a test shall be conducted, and the result of the pre-test we can divide the group A and group B. Then the treatment shall be given to one group, is called experimental group, or intervention program shall be given to one group, is called experimental group, and intervention program is not given to group A, that is called control group. Then the traditional method or approach shall be followed for the group A, and the activity approach shall be followed to the group B. Then post-test shall be conducted
Sir,
for both the groups.
sir, the screenshot karantu tike, please.
Eh?
The screenshot, screen sharing te karantu.
कौन होची?
Screen sharing te karantu, sir.
स्क्रीन शेयरिंग माने मैं बुझी पाइल नहीं किछ केमति करिया को होबो
सर पीपीटी रे पढौ ना दे
हैं
अच्छा
शेयर करि पाए
पीपीटी में
नहीं सर
जानि
से भाबु नहीं सर आप कोन से स्टार्ट करो
पीपीटी जानि तो स्क्रीन शेयर करंती हैला तमे टिके टिपि दियो खाली तमे रेटे ले पहिला बेले यदि टिपि दउथिबो ताले मन रखि परिबो नल अदरवाइज आई कुड हैव स्क्रीनशॉट करि परंती देखियो आर क्लास को दी मुकाट सिखि गिरी यदि करि परि भलो कथा कारण मु से विषय टे अज्ञ दिस इज माय
आगे सर ठीक है सर किछ असुविधा नहीं
ठीक है
आगे
so then post test shall be conducted and the mean of group A, mean of group B shall be determined, and the difference between the both the groups shall be determined. If it is statistically significant, then we can say that the activity method has effect in the teaching learning process. Bujhila? Is it clear, experimental group?
yes sir
Yes, sir.
Let us come the quasi-experimental design. Quasi means semi. Semi-experimental design. For example, any variables we may take, say activity method ho or traditional method ho, you divide the classroom without controlling the external variable, on the basis of a pre-test. On the basis of a pre-test, a test will be conducted, and basis of the result of the pre-test, and the order will be maintained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like that. So even numbers will be in one group, odd numbers of the 1, 3, 5, 7 order ଅଛି ଆମେ ମାର୍କ ଗୁଡାକ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରଖିବା 2, 4, 6, 8 ଏଟା ଇଭିନ୍ ତାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ରଖିବା ସପୋଜ ଅଡ୍ ନମ୍ବର ଗ୍ରୁପ ଟା ଆମେ ରଖିଲେ a ତାକୁ ଦେଲେ ଆମେ कंट्रोल ग्रुप जो इवन नंबर रहा 2, 4, 6, 8
Hello. तपन सर आपन नंबर टा प्लीज टिके कहूँ
क्लास रे कोन डेली अटेंडेंस पडुचे समस्त को एनरोलमेंट नंबर लिखा होचे
खाली मैम क्लास कले तो कहले सेंता आई थिंक पढु
आगुरु तो केबे कहू नथले आगुरु तो हम
से
एनरोलमेंट
खाली
नंबर दे
खाली
नथिले
कि पको के अटेंड करू छ क्लास टा जानबार लागि माने एनरोलमेंट नंबर टा मगा छै कहले एंदा किछि नै से
हेलो तपन सर ए आपन को फोन नंबर टा टिके कहूँ तो
ଆଜ୍ଞା
आपन को
सर
नंबर टा टिके कहूँ
करथिला तपन सर
କୁହନ୍ତୁ
नंबर
କାହାର
आपणकर
ଗୋଟେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଦଉଛି ଶୁଣ କ୍ଲାସ ଚାଲିଛି ଏମିତି ଡିସ୍କସନ କରନ୍ତି ନେଗେଟିଭ ସାର୍ ବି ଅଛନ୍ତି ନା ଜଣେ
ओके ओके परे
हाँ
लेफ्ट हे जासु तो देनी
म्यूट करो सार जॉइन कर क्लास कर
या ओके ओके
sorry for the interruption of the network. So in the quasi-experimental design, as I was telling, that it is not true experimental design, or it is not pre-experimental design. All of you are clear about the pre-experimental design and true experimental design and quasi-experimental design, and the pre-test, post-test, and control group, experimental group, independent variable, dependent variable. All these key concepts in the experimental group are involved. So one must have clear concept about the key concepts. Am I right? Are you clear about all these things, or in doubt, please tell me.
Sir, I have doubt.
Tell me.
Sir, can you please the basic difference between pre-experimental, true experimental, and quasi-experimental design, and give some examples, sir, please.
Okay. In the true experimental design, the external factors other than the independent and dependent variables are fully controlled. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? In the true experimental design.
Yes, sir.
In the experimental design, the external factors, in the true experimental design, there will be control group and experimental group. There will be dependent variable, there will be independent variable. Basic difference egudaka vitare nahi, and there will be treatment or intervention program to the experimental group, and no intervention program will be given to the control group. And finally, the mean of these two groups shall be compared, and the effect of the independent variables shall be statistically analyzed. In the pre-experimental design, no external factors are controlled. Okay? And
Yes,
no pre-test is given. Okay? No pre-test is given. Particular group who are getting television program or television facilities in a particular area is called your experimental group. Where there is no television program is called control group. Where there is net facilities, that is called your control group for online learning. Effect of online learning on achievement. Suppose, an example may be taken. During the COVID, it was very necessity to ascertain whether the online learning has effect on the achievement or not. So you have experience that in most of the areas in Odisha, there was no network. That's why there is no net facilities, no signal, because of that facility has not been provided. So the pre-test is not conducted in both the groups. Okay. In the pre-test experimental design, no pre-test is conducted. In the quasi-experimental design, external factors are not controlled, but the pre-test is conducted in both the groups, and the post-test is conducted. In the pre-test experimental design, only post-test is conducted. Are you clear who was asking this question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So all of you, for all, this is a very difficult design. The experimental design question may be asked. What is experimental design? What are the types of experimental? Illustrate with examples. The experimental design. Or what is the pre-experimental design? Illustrate with examples. Or what is the quasi-experimental design? Illustrate with examples. Question may be asked. So your fundamental must be very clear about the experimental design and pre-experimental design, true experimental design, quasi-experimental design. Also, question may be asked: how many types of experimental designs? How many types of experimental designs are? Explain with suitable examples a particular either true experimental or pre-experimental or quasi-experimental design. Okay, can you answer? All of you, can you answer the questions or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then
सर जो प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन कहले क्वेजी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन ता भीतर डिजाइन भीतर डिफरेंस के डाउट रहउची
हाँ डाउट रोज प्री
सर
एक्सपेरिमेंटल
प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन ने सर केतटा ग्रुप रहबे
हाँ कहूँ प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन रे आमे प्री टेस्ट कंडक्ट करू नाहू ओके टू मेक टू ग्रुप्स always in the experimental design we have to make two groups, am I right? It is clear?
Yes sir, yes sir.
In the experimental design we have to make two groups, but then the pre-experimental design we do not equate the groups on the basis of pre-test result. गोटे टेस्ट दौने कि मीन गुड़ाक आम समान देखुने आम कौन क्वासी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन सॉरी प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल
डिजाइन
ओके बट इन क्वासी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन हाँ अनदर फैक्टर इज द एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स आर नॉट कंट्रोल्ड इन बोथ द एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन प्री एंड क्वासी. I have told you what are the experimental, external factors. In the quasi-experimental design, what happens? We make two groups on the basis of a test. A test is conducted on the basis of test result. The mean of the group A and the group B shall be equal. Okay? I have told you that then we have to, one group, we have to teach traditionally, to other group we have to give treatment or intervention program or say activity method of teaching. Then we post test, we conduct a post test and compare the mean of the post test for both the groups. Is it clear? Now out there कहबी
छात्र
out there कहबी हैं
ठीक है सर.
अच्छा
हाँ सर.
सर सर
हाँ
प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल रे प्री टेस्ट कंडक्ट हुए नहीं बट पोस्ट टेस्ट कंडक्ट हुए बट
हाँ
क्वाशियोर रे प्री टेस्ट हुए एंड पोस्ट टेस्ट बोथ हुए ये डिफरेंस तो
हाँ
आई गेस
सर क्वाजी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन रे माने कोन जो हमें जो रैंडमाइजेशन न थाए हमें जो चूज करथाय ग्रुप टा मन इच्छा माने कर 10 जण अच्छा
हाँ रैंडमाइजेशन नथिबो एथे भी रैंडमाइजेशन नथिबो हाँ एटा रैंडमाइजेशन थिबो एथे आट रैंडम
प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन ने रैंडमाइजेशन रहइबो
हाँ
किंतु क्वाजी रे रैंडमाइजेशन रहइबोनी एमिति डायरेक्ट हमें बायस रेस रहइबो सेति पे एटा एते इफेक्टिव न क्वाजीटा
बुझियला त
अगेन सर ठीक है.
Do you need more clarification?
Sir, what about true experimental design?
Oh,
These two experimental designs are clear.
how true experimental how कहूची true ए दिला बुझियला त
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अच्छा आटम कहूची ते 5 मिनिट के मत रेस्ट दियो आछी ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the true experimental
Yes, sir.
design,
Yes, sir.
in the true experimental design, what happens? The external factors are fully controlled. Okay. Pre-test is conducted. Okay. And the samples selected following the sample procedure, either random sampling technique or purposeful sampling technique, all these things that will be discussed. Then pre-test will be conducted. On the basis of pre-test result, we have to form two groups. One is called a control group, another is called experimental group. To the control group, no treatment will be given, no intervention program will be given. To the experimental group, intervention program will be given. Then after intervention program, we have to conduct the post-test and find out the mean of the control group and the experimental group after the post-test. And the significance of a difference between means shall be determined. If there will be significance difference between mean is will be found, then we can say that the activity method has an effect on the achievement or success of the learner. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is not possible to go into, there are different the group designs under all the pre-test, post-test, and quasi-experimental design. Then another is called a factorial design. I have told you only two factors. Suppose you have to find out the cause and effect relationship between two variables. But when there are more than two variables, for example, study habit, activity method, and other variables. So there are more than one independent variable, but a dependent variable is 1. In that case, we may not find out or determine the significance of difference between mean, but we have to determine which factor is more, which factor is mainly influencing the achievement, and which factor less influence the achievement. For that reason, we have to follow the factorial design. ABC factor, 3 factors or 4 factors like that. And for that reason, we have to follow the analysis of variance, the statistical procedure, so that gradually the factors are partial out, will be partialed out, and other factor which is dominant can be determined. This is called your factorial design. Is it clear? When there are more than one factor influence the dependent variable, in that case, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. In that case, we have to follow the factorial design. Yes? Is it clear or not?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ସାର୍ ସାର୍ ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟୋରିଆଲ ଡିଜାଇନରେ ଆମର ଦିଟାରୁ ଅଧିକ ଇଣ୍ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ ଥାଏ।
ହଁ
ଆଉ ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ ଗୋଟେ
ଡିପେଣ୍ଡେଣ୍ଟ ଭେରିଏବଲ ତ ଗୋଟେ ଆଉ
ସାର୍ ଯେମିତି ହେଇଗଲା ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଟେଲିଭିଜନ ହେଇଗଲା ଆଉ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟଡି ହାବିଟ ସେଇଟାକୁ ନେଇକି ଆମେ ଆଚିଭମେଣ୍ଟରେ କ'ଣ ଫୋକସ କରୁଛୁ
କରିପାରିବା।
ତାହେଲେ ଏଇଟା ହେଇଗଲା ଫ୍ୟାକ୍ଟୋରିଆଲ। ସାର୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ଗୋଟେ ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ମାନେ ପଢେଇଲେ ସାର୍ ଏଲଆର ଗେଙ୍କର ବୁକ୍ସ ମୋ ପାଖେ ଗୋଟେ ଅଛି, ସେଥିରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ପ୍ରି ଏକ୍ସପେରିମେଣ୍ଟାଲ ଡିଜାଇନରେ the one group pre-test post-test design involves one group that is pre-tested exposed to a treatment and tested again. से कहूचे गोटे ग्रुप रहिबो सेही ग्रुप को प्री टेस्ट कराहबो तापर ताको ट्रीटमेंट दियाहबो तापर जे पोस्ट टेस्ट कराहबो।
आपण मन कहलनी कि प्रत्येक प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन टू एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन देयर सब डिजाइन्स आर देयर, so it is not possible to cover all the designs. I have told you categorically that is possible. Single group design, you are meaning the single group design. Pre-test post-test नहीं परिबा किछ असुविधा नहीं, गोटे ग्रुप नहीं करी।
सर प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन में दुईटा ग्रुप नहीं परिबा कि?
हां से पूरा कहली प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन रे दुईटा ग्रुप नहीं परिबा, गोटे ग्रुप नहीं परिबा हैला।
Okay.
Oh. Then let us come the what is called steps in the experimental design. प्रथमे यदि पढ़िबो what are the steps in the experiment design, explain. Write 1 or 2 steps in the experimental design. That may be the question may be asked. प्रथमे सिलेक्शन ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, मुझे जमते कहली सिलेक्ट केते बडा प्रॉब्लम में आलोचना कले, so you have to find out or select the problem according to the felt need of the learner and the investigator. Then we have to find out the rationale of the problem, background. Why have you selected this particular problem? What is the rationale? RATIONALE. Then research questions. What are the questions are in your mind to solve through the research? That shall be stated. Basing on research questions, that shall be objectives. Basing on the objective, there will be hypothesis, probable solutions, then statement of the problem, then operational definitions of the problem, then delimitation. Your study is limited to a particular limited sample and a particular area. It is not possible to cover all these individuals of Odisha. It is highly expensive, time-consuming process, and so on and so forth. That's why, keeping in view all the limitations, we have to, our constraints rather, we have to take a limited sample for the study, a sample of the study, and a particularly random sample or purposely sample or what type of sample it may be, you have to mention. Then your review of a related literature. What are the similar study?
सर आपण एने जो कहले डिलिमिटेशन ऑफ द स्टडी सर आ गोटे रिसर्च रिपोर्ट लिखला बेले थोर थोर आसे लिमिटेशन ऑफ द स्टडी डिलिमिटेशन ऑफ द स्टडी से तो सर डिफरेंस किछ अछि
नहीं लिमिटेशन स्टडी ये करना हंदी बर्तन तक कहते डिलिमिटेशन ऑफ स्टडी
सर डिलिमिटेशन ऑफ द स्टडी तो हमर जो क्वेश्चन हे गेला हमर जो हे गेला हमर प्रॉब्लम टा गेला से प्रॉब्लम टा कर देबो जे हम खोर्धा डिस्ट्रिक्ट रे डिलिमिट करू छी हमें खाली 10th क्लास बिलोंग करू छे
सही लिखा बस दिस स्टडी इज लिमिटेड टू for that district. The study is limited to a specific variable. That is the delimitation.
This study is limited to what a school na de pariba.
A sample, a area, not any other area. This much shall be stated while writing the research report. Okay. Then
yes, sir.
Review of a literature similar study whether has been undertaken. You have to go through the internet and get the findings. So yeah findings अछि तेनो आमे ए एरिया पर नलु ए एरिया पर आगुरु हे नथिला तेनो this study has been undertaken by the investigator. आउ लेखबनी आई लेखबनी केते बेले सदा लेखबनी
ना सर सर लिटरेचर रिपोर्ट रिसर्च क्या प्रोवाइड करते हैं
रिसर्चर और investigator has undertaken this study keeping in view the present demand or need of the teaching learning process, etc. Whatever it may you write, doesn't matter. I केतल व्यवहार करिवो नाही हैला तापर आसिला डिजाइन ऑफ द स्टडी डिजाइन ऑफ द स्टडी रे लेखाबो फर्स्ट हला मेथड वो मेथड नलो ना सर्वे मेथड नलो ना फिलोसॉफिकल मेथड नलो ना हिस्टोरिकल मेथड नलो ना एक्सपेरिमेंटल मेथड नलो हेल मेथड लिखिबे तापर लिखिबे सैंपल केते सैंपल मेले ओ को सैंपल टेक्निक that you have used that also you write. Then you have to write the procedure. जो एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन टा नेले से प्रोसीजर रे हमें नेले से लिखेबा त प्री एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन और क्वासी एक्सपेरिमेंटल डिजाइन लिखबा प्रोसीजर लिखबा the two groups will be formed on the basis of the pre experimental design or नौचे तले हमें without any pretest we also form the groups and quasi nelle pretest and true experiment nelle pretest the external variables only controlled in case of the true experimental design. In case of the pre-experimental design and the quasi-experimental design, the external variables are not controlled. Then we conduct the post-test result, and the test shall be prepared. The objective type of questions shall be prepared in consultation with the educationist, experienced persons, and so on. If possible, the reliability and the validity shall be determined. Otherwise, you can also determine only content validity. So, then after that, that will be administered. The test will be administered and it will be scored. The mean and standard deviation will be determined. Under the analysis, you can write. Then the standard error of a mean shall be found out. The critical ratio value shall be determined. And the d value m1 minus m2 divided by critical ratio value for int. That value shall be determined at 0.05 level, at 0.01 level. So then interpretation will be written. Either analysis or interpretation or result and discussion. Either result and discussion or analysis or interpretation. Okay, this is the procedure of steps in the experimental research. Now let us discuss about the qualitative research. We have discussed about the quantitative research. In the quantitative research, what happens? You express the data in a number or numerical expression of the data, and the statistical procedure shall be followed to interpret the data, whether the hypothesis shall be rejected or retained, depends upon the statistical analysis. In qualitative research, these are the characteristics, the multiple realities, meaning and interpretation, generation knowledge, generalization, human relation, value system, and so on and so forth. All these are the characteristics. Research conducting qualitative research. Why do we conduct qualitative research? Because human behavior is very complex in nature. And it is difficult to study through the providing the test or any procedure that you follow. For example, some are in the jail. You do not know their behavior, and you have the preconceived idea that they are the criminals. Might be. Some of them are criminals. Might be some of them are not criminals. Due to circumstances for defense, self-defense, they have killed the persons and are sent to the jail. So if you go, you may have or may not have preconceived ideas. The complex behavior of these persons shall be studied with respect to the various environment and the various aspects of the behavior shall be determined in terms of percentage or the chi-square test. So, It is called qualitative. In-depth study about the individual, the behavioral problem in the teaching learning process, the behavioral problem of the learner. In the case of society, there is some complex behavior, so you can study. Because what happens, everybody has a peculiar mechanism. Means they have the different way of life, and everybody is different from others. So the uniqueness of the individual, so far the personality is concerned, shall be studied whether the individual adjusts to the changing circumstances effectively or not. That is the concern. If I cite another example, suppose there are sex workers. You do not have the idea that sex workers have their running the flesh trade business. But you will be astonished to know they are the victim of the circumstances. Under what circumstances they have adopted that trade business? Society has a negative attitude towards that particular business. Some are, say, deceived by their lovers. Some are, say, betrayed. Rather say you can say they are betrayed by the lovers. Some become pregnant and gave birth to a child, and society did not accept. Where to go? They want to live. So they adopted this. I will cite one example. It is a practical example, not a story, rather. A poor fellow, poor lady, her mother became ill. She was hospitalized. There was no money for her treatment. The doctor has told that if she could sleep with him, then he could make treatment freely. All requests, all things was in vain. So that what had happened, and his mother recovered, and she became pregnant. The lady became pregnant and gave birth to a child, and the mother did not accept the child and her own daughter. Where to go? Possibly, or due to the circumstances he adopted. So these are the number of examples that you can come across. That there are some beggars who are very old. Every day that is coming. Yesterday I was witnessing TV. The parents are walking 50 kilometers on foot to the police station, that their sons are not giving food and taking and giving shelter. So you see. So for these cases, you can conduct the qualitative research. Various reasons you can find out how many percentage of people of this category, those the children of the parents are deprived of all sorts of protection, safety, security from their sons and daughters. So this is called your qualitative research. You have no preconceived idea, no hypothesis, nothing of this kind. Simply you have to go to the particular individual with questionnaire or observation, schedule, rating scale, checklist. These are the instruments that we can use. And also record all the behavior, all the activities of the particular individual and come to the conclusion that under the such circumstances, this has happened in the society, or this is the background of the problem child. The problem child might be he is deprived of love, sympathy, affection at home, and there is a quarrel at home every day between the father and the mother. So the child feels unsafe, insecure. Every child needs safety and security at home, because I have told you that everyone lives on comparison. When two friends talk among themselves, they compare themselves. What is the lifestyle of these two children? What is the school environment? What is the home environment? And so on and so forth. This is how you can conduct the qualitative research to know the various factors. It is clear, the concept of qualitative research. Is it clear or not? Hello? Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then for the qualitative research, how will we get the result? Under what study? Under what is the types of qualitative research? One is called bibliography. Bibliography, if you study the lifestyle throughout the life of a particular individual, one is frustrated and a negative attitude towards the society, towards male for female, female towards male. So the life history, we have to, or from the life history written by others, we can study the qualitative research. Also from the autobiography, the study or anything written by himself, because the writing is the reflection of the own thinking, reasoning, and attitude, etc. Out of that, we can conclude that what type of person he is. Then phenomenological study. In the phenomenological study, that various phenomena that takes place in the society. I have କହିଛି ଯେ ଘଟଣା ସମୂହ. Phenomena अर्थ घटना समूह. For no reason, one uses slang languages and passes comments and throws stones to others. This is a phenomenon. The reason is You might have concluded that everybody wants recognition. If he is not recognized by the parents or in the school, so he wants to draw the attention of others. In order to draw the attention of others, he accepts a different mechanism through which he will draw the attention. So this is a qualitative research. You can study. So the grounded theory study here, it is discovering the generating a theory. Here theory means abstract analytical scheme of phenomena in the world. Theory understood, possible relationship, the concept, sets of concept, the physical world. So many things are taking place. So you have to analyze qualitatively. The philosophical concepts also, some are atheists, some are not atheists. Those who believe in God, those who don't believe in God. So the Atma, Paramatma and relationship, etc. There is no scientific reason behind it. Aji chaliji Jagannath Parikrama. So I do not know what sort of a scientific theory behind it. So this much I know, that when you visit temples or have spiritual feelings in you, to develop some kind of the concentration, the strong willpower, this much in scientific analysis, and it also heals your diseases. You recover from diseases through willpower. Your body, that the something will be generated in your body, antibody will be created, and the defense system of the body will be developed. Anyway, then the ethnology, ethnography, I have told you the ethnic group, the main native of a
Yes, sir.
particular
The study of the
huh?
study of culture. The
culture.
study of culture.
Yes. Then the case study, the systematic study about the individual, his personal life, his education life, and cultural life, and personality, and everything. Detailed study about the individual. In-depth study about the individual. Unless you have a case study about the individual, you cannot pass any comment to the individual, either good or bad or anything else. Might be. Due to the circumstances, he has behaved such way, and in other circumstances, he behaves very normally. So we have to always think of the environment or the circumstances through which he is the behavior. Then what are the steps? That is, steps are identify the problems, research questions. That questions we have told. Design of the study, sampling, form of data, data collection process, interview, observation, documentation, visual device, analysis of data and reporting. Observation is the one of the process for data collection of qualitative research. You have to observe the various activities of the person whom you study, his behavior, the problems. The observer and observee, The observee should not know that he is going to be observed. ଯାହାକୁ ଆମେ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରିବାକୁ ଯାଉଛେ ସେ ଯେମିତି ନ ଜାଣୁ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଅବଜର୍ଭ କରୁଛୁ ବୋଲି ହେଲେ କ'ଣ ହବ? We are always conscious of our own strengths. We are not conscious about our own weaknesses. So the weaknesses cannot be revealed if the problem child is aware that he is going to be observed in the school or at home or at different places. That's why it must be very secret. Through observation, directly we can observe the child, the problem child, in the playground, in the classroom, at different places. Indirectly, we can also observe like their parents, like their peer groups, with whom he is making friendship. What is the home climate? What is the relationship between the father and mother and other members of the society? So it is a very scientific process, and whatever the observation is made, that must be reported immediately through writing, through pen and paper. You must, because it is not that easy to remember all these incidents, all these data. So we have to record it. Then we have to analyze. These are the causes for which the child is a problem child. Then we have to interpret. Or out of the problem child, what is the percentage of the problem children who are deprived of parents, a love, sympathy, and others by the parents? How many of them are the different kind of problems? During adolescence period also there is a problem. So whether such problems are there or not. In the school also, the school climate is not favorable. The problem is there. So we can also find out in terms of percentage. Then we have to conduct an interview. Interview is a one-to-one conversation between the interviewee and interviewer. And set of questions will be prepared before the interview. And before interview, the interviewee shall accept the interviewer as a friend. And he must be conscious that whatever the interview the conversation will take place will not be disclosed to anybody else, and it will not hamper to his personality or way of life or his success or failure in the examination. So through that also we can collect the problems. Through checklist, number of series of activities, qualities are to be rated, and he will be given just that put a tick mark to which he agrees. Sports, games, interest in science, mathematics, and so on and so forth. Number of questions. Because I have told you we have thousands of qualities, psychological traits and physical traits, emotional traits, social traits. So out of that checklist, we can also determine the problem of the child. And also we can take the help of the rating scale. The rating scale is a device or an instrument which rates our various psychological qualities in the form of graphical or the statement Like say, I like such a particular thing, strongly agree, undecided, disagree, strongly disagree. Like this, we can put the uh, provide the rating scale and get the result. Accordingly, we can interpret. So these are the some of the devices through which we can conduct the qualitative research. Then I have told you the philosophical and historical research. The philosophical research, the philosophy of the great persons, great educationists, educational philosophy like your the Gandhi, Aurobindo, Tagore, Rousseau, Plato, and so on and so forth. Western philosophers and Eastern philosophers, Indian philosophers. Which system of education is better? So you have to study all the educational philosophy. So what is the relationship between the basic education and activity method of teaching? We can study also the basic education of Gandhi. That is a philosophical study. So also the integral education and the Tagore, the naturalist, idealist, and the pragmatist. Three things, more naturalist and idealist. In the learning takes place in the nature. That's why he has established a school in the nature, which is now called Viswabharati, University of Viswabharati. A natural surrounding. Gopabandhu has also established a school in the natural surrounding is called Banavis Satyavati Vana Vidyalaya.
Muktakasa Vanavidya. I guess.
So these are the what is the implication of these educational ideas of those great persons to the present study? Now we have transformed the schools, but whether the quality is being maintained or not. So we have to compare it with the present system of education and present quality of education. That is the basic reason for which we have to study the philosophical conduct of philosophical research. Also historical research, I have told you in the past, or the development of women education during last 10 years, development of tribal education during the last 10 years, and so on and so forth. History, the past educational structure, curriculum. Suppose in 1964-66, the Educational Committee has reported certain things. In the 1986 and 1992, there are certain recommendations. In the NC of 2005, there are certain recommendations regarding the curriculum framework, and also the NEP 2020, there is a recommendation of. So, what is the novelty? The structure and the curriculum, and the novelty is a felt necessity, keeping in view the present need of the society or the present need of the country. We want that the India should be developed country. So accordingly, what should be the educational system? Keeping in view that the historical study, what is the left behind? In the 1964, they have recommended 10 plus 2 plus 3. But it took nearly 15 years to 16 years to implement it. But in Odisha, in the year 1986-82, or later on, it was implemented. So we are not that serious about the implementation and the effect of the particular committee report. So there are so many topics are there. The historical research and both for it may be taken in the historical primary education, secondary education, and higher education, and so on and so forth. All these things. So there are two things in the historical research that will be the interest in internal criticism and external criticism. Primary resources and secondary resources in historical research. Another is survey research. Survey type is a survey means the existing phenomena. What is the existing phenomena? Suppose the achievement of the class 8 students in mathematics in Odisha. So whether there is up to the expectation or not up to the expectation, whether there is a difference between the achievement of the boys and girls reading in class 8 in mathematics in Odisha, there is a difference or not, or language subject or not. So that is existing system, existing phenomena. The women education in Odisha, the existing phenomena, whether there is equity, both the male and female are treated equally at home, in the society, in the workplace. Or no, Constitution says there must be equity. But whether practically the equity is being maintained or not, the empowerment of women in getting education, involving in the politics, and getting various vocations, services, or occupations, whether they are equal among others or not. Then equality of opportunity. All these are the existing phenomena that must be studied under survey method. We can make a survey like your census survey. All the individuals are considered as sample while conducting the census. So we take all the individuals for the study. Then you can say the population of the country is 130 crores or 140 crores, like that. That is our survey method. That economic survey, the survey about the clean city, the survey about the education status, the survey about the development, and so on. So many areas surveys is conducted.
କୋଉଠି ଗଡି ଗଡିକା ହେଇଛି କିରେ ଏଇ ପ୍ୟାଣ୍ଟ ରେ କଣ ଲାଗିଛି?
So
ଗଡିନି ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ ବସି
then
ପଡି
this is about 2 and 3.
ବାହାର
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
ଖେଳୁଥିଲି
ସୁଇଚ
ମତେ ସାର
We have
ଭଲ୍ୟୁମ ଅଫ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ।
ପଡିଲା ସବୁ
so
ସାଇ ଯାଇଥିଲି ତ
friends,
ବୁଲା ଯାଇଥିଲି ସେଇଠି ଜଣ
other
ଲାଗିଗଲେ
two are left. So we will discuss other two. There is a statistics. That is require also a screenshot. I will try. If possible, I will clarify but otherwise, I have to clarify through verbally. And for today, let us wind this session, wind up this session, and thank you for this patient hearing, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, 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 sir.
ଖୁସି ଟିକେ ଚାର୍ଜ ବସେଇଦବୁ କି ଏଇଟା
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ତପନ ସାର୍
କୁହ କଣ ଡାଉଟ୍ ଅଛି କିଛି?
ସାର୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ନମ୍ବରଟା ଟିକେ ଦରକାର ଥିଲା।
ମେସେଜ କରିଥିଲି ବା।
ସରି ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଦେଖିନି।
ଗୋଟେ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ମେସେଜ ଚେକିଂ କର।
ଆପଣ କହିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଲେଖିଦେବି କେତେ
ଲେଖନ୍ତୁ 83
83
277
277
86303
86306
303।
303 ओके सर थैंक यू।
ତମେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଆଡ୍ ହେଇନ କି?
ସାର୍
ତମେ ଗ୍ରୁପରେ ଆଡ୍ ହେଇନ କି?
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍ ନଳିନୀ ଦେବୀ କଲେଜରେ ଆପଣ ଯଦି ଆଡମିଟ୍ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତେଣୁ ମୋତେ ଆଡ୍ କରିଦେବେ।
ହଁ କରିଦଉଛି।
ଓକେ ସାର୍ थैंक यू।
ତପନ ସାର୍ ହ୍ୟାଲୋ ତପନ ସାର୍
ଭାଇ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ସ୍କଲାର୍ସ କଥା କଣ ହେଲା? ପକେଇ ପାରିବା ନା ପକେଇ ପାରିବାନି? ହ୍ୟାଲୋ।